I just wanted to take a minute to check in on my journey to surrender. This morning I woke up and I recorded, but I need to do better with space on my phone. And so at the very end, it cut off, and I was debating whether or not I should go back and record. And I also wanted to just kind of like cite some sources that I didn't get a chance to do in the first video. So this morning, two things. I woke up with the reminder and the phrase, "It's bigger than me." And I remember writing it down, but I couldn't remember at the time when I recorded this morning where. But it was in, while I was doing quiet time one morning for the book Discerning the Voice of God by Priscilla Shirer. She is helping readers to be able to put into practice some things to help them have clarity and encouragement as they're listening for God's direction. And one of the sections that I just recently read, I remember writing in the margin, it's bigger than me. And so she was pointing out different people's stories. And in the moment, their stories seemed complicated. They were going through difficulties, facing challenges. And then I just recently watched The Star, I believe it is. It's the animated movie on Netflix about the birth of Jesus. And this donkey, he just aspires to be a part of like the king's court. I may be saying that wrong. So he wants to be in that the parade that has the esteemed, people, animals marching in it. And all this time, that's something that he's pursuing. That's his aspiration. And as he gets an opportunity to finally like touch that aspiration, things change. There's a pivot, and he finds himself torn. Do I go help Mary, who's in danger, or do I pursue this dream that I've held for so long? He takes the pivot. He pursues helping Mary, and ends up unfolding in a way that his outcome is greater than he could have ever imagined. And that he was playing a role in a bigger story that was even more grand than his desire just to be a part of this procession. He got a chance to be able to carry the mother of Jesus, on his back. And so it was just a much grander outcome for him, but not just a grander outcome for him, but he was a piece in this greater story that was bigger than him. I'm thinking about Joseph, who had a dream and went through challenges, put in a pit, sold into slavery, lied on, put into jail, all these different things that are challenges. But it was God was able to use these circumstances, pull them together in order for the desired outcome, the bigger thing that he was a part of, saving his people from a famine, restoration for his family. And so I woke up reminded that it's bigger than me. I also remember journaling from a quote from the book that I had been reading, just finished, The Journey of Yes by Brenda Palmer. And in that book, the piece that I had pulled out, she was talking about in this Journey of Yes, both books, Priscilla Shirer's Bible Study and Brenda Palmer's book, they point readers toward having this disposition of surrender, having a yielded spirit, yielded to, Lord, whatever you want to do, however you want to use me. It makes me think of an old gospel song that which the lyrics say, "If you can use anything, Lord, you can use me." And so anyway, let me find the quote from Brenda's book. She said, "Your yes answers prayers. Our yes is always connected to the lives of others. We must look to live as vessels waiting to be poured out rather than to be filled up." And so this morning, when I heard the reminder that it's bigger than me, I know that it was word spoken to undergird me in this journey. because I know that sometimes we're in places longer than we want to be, or we face challenges or receive curveballs, feel pressure sometimes that can baffle us. But like, Lord, we're reaching for, desiring for this picture that we have in our minds, when all the while God has us in his hands. And if we rest in him, he will continue to guide and direct us along the path that he has for us, because it's his will. He wants us to live out the calling, the path that he has for us. And he's very good about helping us to overcome the things that are trying to hinder, slow down, or interrupt his plan. Like he's God, he's sovereign, he's more than able to help us. So when we're in spaces that feel contradictory, or face challenges, or feel pressure, I feel like it's important to remember that the story that we're a part of is bigger than us. Our part is important, and we are important. We're important to God. We have to keep it balanced with the reminder of his character and his thoughts toward us. So he said, I think thoughts of peace toward you and not of evil, to give you a hope in the future. Jeremiah 29:11. He said, for I came that you may have life, and life more abundantly. John 10:10. It's Satan who desires to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come that you may have life, and life more abundantly. My compassion fails not. They're new every morning. So he's the good shepherd. He desires to give us good things. And because of that, we have to hold that so that we don't feel just like he doesn't care. Like our lives, our happiness, our desires, our wants don't matter. They do. And we are a part of a larger story. So we want to be in a place where we're reaching for things beyond just pursuit for things for ourselves. Trusting, we don't have to worry about those things, and trusting ourselves to God that, he desires to give us good things. So I can set my eyes on him, positioning myself like, Lord, use me how you see fit for your glory. I recently had created a piece that initially I was going to call Broken. The picture I had in my head was of this vessel, this vase that had cracks in it. But I was talking to a friend about it, and in that conversation, it inspired me to fill the cracks with gold. She talked about Japanese art where they break the pottery and then they reassemble it with gold, and so its value is even greater because of it's now has these gold pieces woven throughout the pottery. And so I painted a picture, has the cracks, but there are these gold pieces. And as I was finalizing the painting, I felt like I couldn't name it Broken, but it was supposed to be called The Vessel. And alongside of it, I wrote this poem, and it's about this vessel. And it's a character piece. The vessel is speaking, and the master potter is speaking. And the vessel is like, I just feel used. Like, I'm working really hard. My worth is associated with how much I can carry, how much I can pour out, And so this mixture of feeling self-pity, bitterness, resentment, insecurities, because the vessel is saying, I'm not the most trendiest design, I'm my texture is bumpy, it's not smooth, I'm not grand in size. And so she's just feeling undervalued, and she has low self-esteem, and then there comes a part in the poem where she's broken. And so she comes and she's laying at the potter's feet, the master potter's feet, and she's like, what am I don't even know, what am I supposed to do? And he just smiles and he scoops her up. And as he scoops those pieces, her pieces in his hands, she feels this wave of healing peace wash over her, because she's in the master potter's hands. And he smiles at her and he says, you're my masterpiece. And she's looking baffled like, what? I am broken. I don't know if even you can put me back together. I'm broken. And he says it again, you're my masterpiece. Then he pulls out some gold from his pocket. It melts with the warmth from his love, and he reassembles her pieces, and it used that gold as adhesive. And then he says it again. He said, you're my masterpiece. He said, whether you contain flowers or nothing at all. Whether you're the centerpiece of a table, in a display case, or you're in the back of the shelf, you're my masterpiece. This is where you get your value from. You are valuable and you're worthy and you're beautiful because the master potter made you and has called you his masterpiece. And he said, this time when you go back out, you remember that I'm the master potter. I've said that you're my masterpiece. So this time when you pour, this time when you carry things, you do it from a place of already knowing your worth and your value, not to earn it. And the other thing he says, and you notice, I didn't put you back together without any evidence of cracks. He said, but what I did is I put, there's gold now in those cracks. Like those tests, those trials, those challenges, that's part of your story. There's power in your pieces. So you go and share, that's your testimony. And so thinking about that, thinking about the nugget from Brenda Palmer, that, us living a life of surrender, saying yes to God, is not just for selfish ambition or selfish gain, but shifting the perspective from looking to be poured into to trusting God's indwelling and his overflow, and looking to be used by him for a greater story because it's bigger than me. So that was the nugget that I have right now. It's kind of I'm happy about it, and at the same time it's sobering because I know that means that my future is not going to be challenge free. Neither has my past been. And who wants challenges, But the encouragement that I believe that he's given me is that I am a part of something bigger than me. He has a desire to use me, and a desire for my yes, a desire for the surrendered life. And he's going to take care of me, and he's going to use me for something greater than I can ever imagine. And then the same is true for you. So that's where I am now on the journey of surrender. I'll check back in again later. Bye.